Hi guys, I'm Abby Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. Today's What I Eat in a Day YouTube review is sponsored by Function of Beauty, and I'm going to be reviewing Simnett of Simnett Nutrition. Now, before we do, I want to tell you about this awesome new hair care line I've been using from Function of Beauty. Now, I have always been pretty picky about any beauty products that I use, especially now that I'm pregnant. And I love that this line has no parabens or sulfates and is 100% vegan and cruelty-free. So this is really simple. You basically just fill out a 2-minute quiz about your hair type, your hair goals, and any personal preferences that you have. And you also get to choose your color and fragrance. They even print your name on the bottle. I mean, how cute is this? So as a blonde, my hair does tend to go a little bit brassy if I wash it too much. So that was a priority for me. I also was looking to fix split ends, strengthen, volumize, and add shine. So they sent me their specially formulated purple shampoo, plus a daily conditioner and a leave-in treatment for added moisture. I also opted for the peach scent, and I have to tell you, like, my hair smells really, really good. It's also got some nice shine and some strength even after coloring, so I'm really happy with the results. They also have a hair mask and serum, and everything is customized and can be added onto any order. If you're looking for a new hair care product that uniquely fits your needs, check out the link in my bio to get 20% off your first order. Also, a big reminder that this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and is not meant to diagnose or prescribe any way of eating. So you should always speak to a registered dietitian and doctor about your specific needs. Okay, so folks, a little background on Derek. Now, Derek is a plant-based certified nutritional practitioner who has graduated from the Institute of Holistic Nutrition. Now, because this is a question that has come up a lot before, I do want to quickly clarify the difference between a nutritionist and a registered dietitian. So a dietitian is a regulated nutrition professional that has gone through extensive university education and training in nutritional sciences. A nutritionist can really be anyone, since this is not a regulated term. But somebody who identifies as a nutritionist could be your next door neighbor with no nutrition education, or it could be somebody with a PhD in nutrition sciences. There are some great comprehensive nutrition programs, and there are ones that you can easily complete on a weekend online. So really, it's like comparing apples to oranges. So obviously, there are great discrepancies here. There are amazing nutritionists, and there are sketchy ones. So just a heads up that if you see somebody use this title, it's best to ask a little bit more about their credentials and education first. Now, in contrast, you cannot call yourself a registered dietitian unless you've completed a minimum of a 4-year undergrad in nutritional sciences, a 2-year combined master's degree, or a 1-year internship. Then you have to pass the national board exam, and in a lot of cases, you need annual continuing education credits to keep yourself up to date. You're also regulated by a college to ensure that we, maintain our oath to do no harm. Now, nutritionist is not a regulated term, so if you run into a problem with malpractice or poor advice, there's really little that you can do about it, and there's very little preventing that person from giving that advice. That is why you may see some not so great nutritionists talk about really sketchy, unproven miracle supplements or diets. And you won't see that same enthusiasm necessarily from registered dietitians. And it's because we are really committed to evidence-based practice. Having said that, there are lots of amazing, awesome, evidence-based nutritionists and holistic practitioners out there who are not registered dietitians. But like I said, you definitely need to do your research. And personally, I know there seems to be a lot of professional competition between these two parties, but I actually see a lot of value from learning from one another and actually working collaboratively as a bit of a team. So like I said, I'm not bashing nutritionists. There are amazing nutritionists out there giving amazing advice, but it is something that you need to, of course, do your research on. So on that note, let's dive in with Derek's first breakfast.
So it's about mid-morning now, and I haven't had anything to eat today. I usually like to try and come to my workouts fasted if I can, and sometimes I work out too late in the day where it's not possible, but today is one of those days where I can, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good workout. I always feel so good when I work out fairly early in the day and fasted.
Now, in terms of exercising fasted or not, there is some research to support fasting for improved aerobic performance. So the idea is that since you're fasted, you'll have lower levels of stored carbohydrates, aka glycogen. So they will deplete rather quickly, and as a result, you may use more fat to fuel your exercise. Now, keep in mind that this is not for everyone, and often it really only works for people if they're exercising early in the morning so that they're not starving by the time that they work out. You know, having a little bit of fuel in the tank can often give you the energy that you need to get you through a hard session. So always listen to your body and find a routine that ultimately works best for you. But it seems like this is working for Derek, so amazing. Now, of course, if you have certain medical conditions like diabetes, then it is extremely important that you speak to your doctor before trying fasted exercise. Let's see what else he has to say.
So I've just had water today, and then I had some beetroot crystals.
Okay, so there's nothing really wrong with taking beetroot crystals before a workout, but like he said, you definitely do not need it. There is some research that has shown that the nitric oxide in beetroot may increase VO2 max, also time to exhaustion, improve blood pressure, and overall oxygen delivery to the muscles. However, the research is definitely mixed in this area, and we really do need more information specifically around dose and overall impact.
And thick like this. I remember there used to be like a commercial on TV, I think it was a Quaker commercial, and it was like an old Scottish guy, and he was like, I like my oats thick enough that you can stand on. And yeah, I have to agree, I like them that way too. So I've got some pumpkin seeds that are going on there as well. Alright, so there is the post-workout meal, the old green smoothie, oatmeal combo. Absolutely love this.
Okay, so this looks incredible. I mean, I love that he added banana and dates to his oatmeal to sweeten it naturally without added sugar while providing that slow burning energy. And the smoothie brings a nice helping of veggies with the kale, some healthy fats from the flax, and protein with the protein powder. He did make an interesting comment, however, about turmeric and lead that I definitely want to address. But first, let's hear what he has to say.
But basically, a lot of the powdered turmeric that's coming into the United States and presumably North America has lots of lead in it.
Okay, so there is some research that has shown that turmeric produced in certain countries, mainly India and Bangladesh, contain higher levels of lead chromate, which is an additive used to enhance its yellow color. Using fresh turmeric is ultimately a really great idea to avoid this altogether, like he said, but you can also look for turmeric sourced from elsewhere if you want the convenience and are concerned.
To the food combining police, eh? Oh, sorry.
Cheers to that, Derek. I love that you are calling that out. And if you want to hear my personal thoughts on food combining, we've got 2 videos here that I'm going to link to. But Derek, thank you for fighting the good fight with me. Let's take a look at breakfast number 2.
It's just a big bowl of fruit. As you can see, I grabbed an orange. We've got a nice ripe mango here as well as a chopped banana, and then just some hemp seeds on top.
Okay, so this is an example of Derek eating before a workout. Although it is just simple sugars mainly from fruit with a little bit of the protein and the healthy fats from the hemp parts, this can actually be really helpful for people who are sensitive to eating a lot before a workout, and it can give you that fast digesting energy to fuel your workout. Let's take a look at what he's eating after exercising.
Just kind of making this like a smoothie bowl just kind of helps me to slow down my eating so I don't just gulp it all down really quickly, and there's a few things to chew in there, so it helps with the digestion as well. So I just got some fresh blueberries on there, and then this granola here by Engine 2.
I also have already talked a lot about the idea between eating a smoothie bowl and drinking a smoothie through a straw when I reviewed Mona Van's tips on how to reduce bloating. So if you haven't already watched that video, definitely check it out right here. But yeah, this smoothie bowl looks super delicious. We've got lots of color. We've got some protein from the protein powder. We've got some healthy fats in the flax. That granola looks amazing. I would like to get my hands on it as well. And I definitely also agree. I like some little crunchy bits on top of my smoothie bowl as well. So looks pretty good.
Today, since we're going to be outside for a little while, and I'm not sure how long it's going to be until I eat again, I decided to have a quick smoothie before I left the house today. So it's a really sort of slimmed down version of like the post-workout smoothie that I usually have. So it's just 1 banana, a cup of frozen berries, 1 pitted medjool date. I had a tablespoon and a half or 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed in there as well, a scoop of Vivo Life protein powder, And I also used a few grams of creatine. So liquid, I just use water. I put a small handful of kale in there as well.
So this is a great tip for those of you who maybe struggle planning your eating for the day. If you're not sure how busy your day is going to be, or you aren't sure when you're going to be able to eat next, I do recommend having a small meal or a snack before you leave the house to just tide you over. Otherwise, I do find that we tend to get ravenously hungry, and this is typically when less mindful food decisions get made. But again, looks like a very balanced smoothie. We've got protein, we've got lots of fruit, we've got some veggies in there too. Looks delicious. So let me now give you my overall thoughts on breakfast. In general, I think that Derek is doing a great job of getting in some healthy fruits, veggies, fat, and protein. Probably my only criticism here is that I'd love to see some more non-drinkable breakfasts, though I get that it's a total convenience thing, and especially as like a pre or post workout. So if it works for him, it works for me. Let's move on to lunch.
Some hummus, some tofu, some smoked tofu. This stuff is so good. And then avocado just on some toast. So we get this bread. It's like super fresh, and it is so tasty. And you can see it's just like really clean ingredients, nothing too crazy added to it. Oh, so I also went and put some kimchi on top of it, and then some pea shoots as well, and also some hot sauce.
That looks so good. Okay, so here he's got a great source of complex carbohydrates from the bread. We've got some plant-based protein from the smoked tofu and a little from the hummus, and of course some healthy fats from the avocado. And I also love the kimchi on top and the naturally fermented bread. I mean, these are all really great for gut health, so yes, please.
I got 3 different tacos. I think I got the barrio, the tulum, and the Baja taco.
Oh my gosh, I am always down for tacos. And I love that more restaurants are offering vegan options without necessarily completely getting rid of some animal-based options either. You know, I just feel like it allows flexibility, and that way everybody can find something that they like. Now, he didn't mention what protein he has on his tacos, but it looks like one has tofu and maybe the other has like vegan chicken. There may be some black beans on the other one, but I can't really say for sure. Either way, so great to see that he's making sure that he's getting adequate protein from a variety of sources. Also, tacos are so great because you get lots of veggies in there, you get your protein, you get your healthy fats in the guac, and your carbs in the tortilla. So basically a perfectly balanced meal, and I am totally craving Mexican right now. I'm quarantined, I gotta make my own damn tacos. Let's take a look at lunch 3.
Bowl. It's actually called the Verde Bowl. So beautiful and colorful. So in this, what do we have here? There's green rice, chopped kale, lentils, sweet potato, tahini, avocado, watermelon radish. These things are so cool. Look how neat these look. Also, cucumber, pickled shallot, shaved carrots, papitas, hemp seeds, and sprouts. That's my kind of bowl right there. So we also got some almond butter on toast. There's almond butter, local berry preserves, coconut yogurt, that stuff there, and blueberries.
Oh my gosh, that is a super yummy looking bowl. And I love that he's got some lentils in there for plant-based protein. We got sweet potato and rice for our complex carbs, as well as from the lentils. And then we've got a variety of beautiful, colorful veggies. I also noticed that he pays attention to making sure he gets a variety of colors in, which of course helps to make sure that you're getting a variety of nutrients. Also, that almond butter toast looks like a great idea just to sneak in some extra protein and healthy fats. And also it looks so delicious. Let's talk about my overall thoughts on lunch. I am definitely a fan of Derek's lunches here. I mean, he's not afraid to try different foods and eat meals that will keep him full for hours. I actually find his lunches to be really well-rounded and just generally super delicious looking. It makes vegan food so appealing. I also love that he's getting a variety of fats from the hemp seeds and tahini and avocado, and he makes sure to mix it up in terms of protein by using tofu, beans, lentils, and meat alternatives. So great, so tasty. Let's move on to dinner.
I'm probably gonna make a stir fry. It's pretty much what I make like 5 nights out of the week. It's just so easy to make. It's so quick. You can use up like leftovers really easily, which I have here. And yeah, it's really easy to put like a whole bunch of healthy stuff into and to make it tasty. So there's really nothing to lose there. So I've got this pot of rice and lentils, which I cooked up last night in some veggie broth. So I'm gonna put that on the stove and heat that up. And I just added some more veggie broth to it because the rice looked kind of dry. So dinner's looking all right. We got some carbs from the rice. There's a little bit of protein in the lentils that are in there, but not a whole lot. And then all the nutrients from all the veggies. But we definitely need to add some more protein to this. All right, so you can always count on a can of black beans for some good protein. One thing that I like to do to make really tasty sauces, or at least give me like a starting point when I'm making sauces, is to hit on 3 different flavors. And those flavors are sweet, salty, and tangy. So for sweet today, we're using a pitted medjool date. For the salty component, I'm going to be using some tamari. And then for tangy, today I'm going to be using this apple cider vinegar. We've got some nice tahini here, some Lebanese tahini, some grainy mustard. This really helps the fats and the water that we're going to be adding to this kind of emulsify. We're going to get a little bit of everything in here. Really good. Heck yeah, that's a good bowl right there.
Wow, that looks like a really satisfying meal. And I love that it's really so colorful and has a ton of different nutrient-dense foods in it. There is a lot of good stuff going on. So we've got loads of veggies, plus carbs from the rice. We've got protein in the lentils and beans, and healthy fats with the tahini sauce and avocado. I mean, a stir fry like this is such a great way to use up extra ingredients like he talked about. I will just say that I noticed he doesn't seem to cook with oil, which is becoming a theme with a lot of whole food vegans that I review. So if you're interested in my thoughts in the no oil trend, definitely check out this video right here that I just recently posted on my YouTube channel. Now, I also want to flag that if you're watching this and you think that you have to prepare all of those veggies at every single meal to be healthy, that is not true. Of course, most people do not get enough vegetables, but there is a lot of prep going on here with all those different vegetable components. So I just want people to know that you don't have to become a professional sous chef chopping up vegetables all day long to have a balanced diet. I mean, I'm so glad that this works for Derek, but I totally acknowledge that for most of us, myself included as a busy mompreneur, that it's just not realistic to have to cut up all of those vegetables for every single meal. Let's take a look at meal 2.
So I don't know if any of you guys know about this. It's called natto, and it's basically like a fermented soybean. It's good. Yeah, it's a great source of vitamin K2. It's the highest source of vitamin K2 in the plant kingdom.
Again, totally solid looking bowl here. And while I find a lot of these YouTubers' bowls very large in size but lacking in substance, this guy seems to know how to build a better bowl. We've got loads of colorful vegetables, protein from the tofu and leftover tempeh, a little fat from the tahini, some slow burning carbs from the whole grains, lots of good stuff. Again, there are a lot of veggies to have to prepare, which probably feels not so realistic for most people. Plus, the no oil theme is definitely alive and well, but I will, like I said, you need to watch that whole video to watch me unpack that. I also want to talk about natto, which, while slimy, is really nutritious, particularly a great source of vitamin K, like he said. Now, there are actually 2 main types of vitamin K, K1 and K2. Vitamin K1 is found in plant-based foods like leafy green vegetables, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and spinach. It's the main source of vitamin K in the diet, but vitamin K2 is actually usually microbial source, meaning it comes from products that utilize different bacteria for production, like cheese or yogurt, or in this case, natto, which is what Derek is trying out here so bravely. It's also found in certain animal products and is produced by our gut bacteria. Now, both are great to get into the diet, and I am happy to see Derek show his viewers a food that is maybe not so well known. Let's see how it tastes.
Should we have it? Okay, raw. Just.
I think we should do like a decent bite too, not
like this.
At the same time. Oh yeah, that's.
Oh my God! Look how long it stretches for. Not my favorite.
I am not surprised they didn't love it. I mean, I think with a lot of these strongly flavored foods like natto, it may be best to incorporate it with other flavors and maybe not right off the spoon, but also the slime factor, yeah, that would put me off too. So totally get that it was not a hit with his buddies. Okay, let's close things off with meal 3.
Tofu, and with some veggies and hash browns as well. So for the scrambled tofu, basically all I'm gonna do is get about half of this huge chunk of tofu, crumble it up, And I'm just gonna add some seasoning. So usually I would use, like turmeric and onion powder, garlic powder, and a few things, but I don't have all those here in this kitchen because it's not my home. So I'm gonna be using this. I just got this from Trader Joe's the other day, and someone there recommended it. And it's just like a sort of, you can see it's vegan chickenless seasoning. All right, so there it is, breakfast for dinner. I also added, oh geez, it's falling off. It's fine, keep rolling. I also added a bagel. This is like an everything bagel from Trader Joe's. Saw these the other day, and they smelled so good and they were so cheap, so I had to have it. So I put some greens on the plate, and then I added the stir fry with the lentils and the Romanesco broccoli and everything on there, and then just some of that tahini sauce that I made.
I love breakfast for dinner, and unlike a lot of people's breakfasts, Derek has made a point to ensure that there's actually a lot of vegetables in his dinner version. So I like that I'm seeing carbs here, of course, with the potatoes and the bagel. We've got protein with the tofu and the lentils, lots of fiber-rich veggies, and some fat with the tahini dressing. Not a lot of fat, again, since he doesn't cook with oil, so it doesn't surprise me that his carb portions need to be as large as they are to help him feel satisfied. So if he wanted to cut back on portions and not have to eat so much, but still feel satiated, he may want to just add a little bit more fat in his cooking, or if that's not for him, maybe throw some avocado in there or a little bit more of those healthy fats from nuts, seeds, things like that. Okay, let's talk about my overall thoughts on dinner. Generally speaking, Derek's meals have a lot of variety and good nutrition. I love how he incorporates different colorful veggies into his dishes, shows us that you can be using plant-based proteins in a variety of different ways, and makes cooking more of like a dump it and don't worry about it exercise than having to follow a recipe to a T. I get that the whole stir fry thing may be a little bit repetitive for people, but at least he's getting in a variety of vegetables, protein sources, and carbs in his dinners, and it's also a great way to use up any leftovers. Now let's talk about Derek's overall nutrition. Number one, are his meals balanced? Well, based on his most recent What I Ate in a Days, I would definitely say that his meals are relatively balanced and nutrient dense. On average, he's getting about 2,680 calories per day, 60% of which is from carbs, 24% from fat, and 16% from protein. Although these do fit within the recommended macronutrient distribution, and he seems to be doing great with them, others who are working out at this level may potentially benefit from a little bit more protein. I also find some of his meals to be a little bit repetitive, but he does try to use different ingredients, even though maybe the type of meal is similar. So I am ultimately totally cool with that. Also, I'm nitpicking, but his dinners do seem to be a little bit large in comparison with the rest of the day, which doesn't necessarily make the most sense for most people, considering his training is happening usually earlier on. So if he's feeling really, really hungry by dinner and needing to have that huge meal to kind of satisfy him for the day, it might be a good idea to add a little bit more fat to his cooking, or boost up the protein to that evening meal to increase the satiety factor without adding so much bulk. Now, is Derek missing out on any major nutrients in his diet? Well, Derek is vegan and therefore avoids any kind of animal products. With that being said, Derek is doing an excellent job making sure that he's still getting in adequate nutrition from a variety of foods. He's getting a nice variety of protein from tofu, almond butter, nuts, seeds, lentils, beans, meat alternatives, and plant-based protein powder. He's definitely getting in more than enough fiber from whole grains, vegetables, pulses, rice, fruit, etc. I mean, this is actually a very high fiber diet. For most people, it may be too high and very likely to cause digestive issues. But if this is the way he's kind of used to eating, it's also very possible that his gut has adjusted to the excessive load. Now, although Derek is getting enough fat from his diet technically, I would encourage him to try to get a better variety of fats into his diet besides relying on just a few fat-rich foods like tahini. For example, he could add a little bit of oil to his salads or stir fries, eat other fat-rich foods like olives and other nuts and seeds, maybe throw in some more avocado, etc. Again, I am just reviewing 3 days of his diet, so he may be eating these things on other days, but we do know that the best thing we can do with the fat in our diet is to get a variety of fats, since each oil and fat provides a unique fatty acid profile, and we really want to try to hit all of the fats that we can. Now, all of his meals are packed with colorful fruits and vegetables to provide amazing antioxidants and nutrients, so I'm not really concerned about micronutrients. He didn't actually mention taking any supplements in these videos, which you know I do prefer influencers to regularly disclose. But in addition to, of course, B12, he may also benefit from a vegan omega-3 supplement with DHA. Yes, I acknowledge that he's getting omega-3s from the flaxseed and the hemp hearts that he consumes, but these foods contain ALA, which is not as well utilized by the body. Some ALA does get converted into EPA and DHA, but admittedly in small amounts. So therefore, a supplement may actually be really beneficial. Now, are there any problematic claims or assumptions on his channel? For the most part, I'm very happy with Derek's videos and the lifestyle that he promotes. I will say he does use the word clean to describe ingredients, and I think it's best to steer clear of that type of wording and verbiage if we can. Also, like I mentioned, I noticed he doesn't use any oil while he's cooking, and he actually has a whole entire video discussing this philosophy. According to Derek, he doesn't use any oil in his cooking because he chooses to avoid processed oils. And his rationale is really because processed oils are very calorically dense but lack nutrition. Therefore, he prefers to get his fats from foods that give him a wide range of nutrients. Now, I can definitely agree that oils are very calorie dense, meaning you get a lot of calories in a small serving. However, this does not necessarily mean that they're devoid of nutrition. So, for example, 1 tablespoon of olive oil provides 13% and 7% of your daily vitamin E and K needs respectively. As well, they do facilitate the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. And yes, of course, eating whole foods that are high in fat can also help with this. But to vilify oil and make a blanket statement that all oils are bad just is not fair or true. There are definitely oils that are overly processed, without a doubt, but opting for healthier oil like cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil is totally, completely fine in moderation. Again, you can of course be mindful of serving sizes. I'm not telling you to go drink a bottle of olive oil, but we don't necessarily need to demonize it or eliminate it either. So while I can totally respect that Derek chooses to get his fats from a whole food diet, there's no reason not to include a little bit of oil. And personally, I just think this is an overly restrictive food rule that can interfere with a lot of social aspects of eating and food. Besides that, it is clear to me that Derek makes sure to avoid making any substantial nutrition claims and really focuses his time on sharing delicious vegan meals and recipes that fuel his body. To me, I think that Derek, very much like shows like Game Changers, is really great evidence that you can 100% be vegan and maintain and build muscle. So kudos to that. So I just want to finish off mentioning some of my favorite takeaways from Derek's channel. Number 1, lots of delicious, easy, and balanced recipes. While the veggie chopping is probably too cumbersome for most people, at least his recipes are simple to follow enough for people at home. Number 2, he's a great example that vegans can build muscle too. Because I'm sure that you are all sick of people asking you, hey, where do you get your protein? And number 3, he doesn't seem to be pushy about his vegan lifestyle or giving nutrition advice. Bottom line, I truly enjoyed exploring Derek's channel. I'm actually a huge fan of his positive personality and approach to life, and it's really fun to watch more awesome male YouTubers in the wellness space. His meals are simple to follow, nutrient dense, and most importantly, look really delicious. I am definitely a fan, and I'm gonna be watching a lot more for some recipe inspiration. Well, folks, that is all for today. Thanks again to Function of Beauty for sponsoring this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below with who you would like to see reviewed next. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.